The metal corridors of the alien ship echoed with slow, heavy footsteps. Human soldier Ethan Cole held his breath, pressing his back against the cold wall. The lights above flickered, throwing long shadows across the floor. His pulse matched the blinking rhythm, and fast, uneven, afraid. He had been lost inside this alien vessel for almost 2 hours. His squad had been wiped out after the ambush near the asteroid field. The mission was simple: rescue the captured colonists. But everything went wrong. Now he was the only one left, the last human inside a ship full of enemies. Ethan checked the charge on his plasma rifle. Only 2 shots left. Not enough to fight. Maybe enough to survive, if he used them wisely. Suddenly, a faint sound came from the darkness ahead. A cry, soft, trembling, human. "Please, I took it off. Please don't hurt me." Ethan froze. His heart stopped for a second. A voice. A woman's voice. Human. He moved forward slowly, his boots almost silent on the floor. The cry came again, this time closer. "Please, I did what you said." Ethan turned the corner and saw her. A young woman sat on the floor, her wrists bound by thin metallic bands that glowed faintly. Her uniform was torn. She was one of the colonists they had come to rescue. But there was something strange about her. Around her neck, a small silver collar lay broken in half. Ethan's mind raced. That collar, he had seen it before. The aliens used it to control their human captives. Once the collar was removed, the host sometimes changed. He pointed his rifle at her, his voice low and sharp. "Don't move." "Who are you?" She looked up, tears shining in her eyes. "My name is Lyra. They made me wear it. I took it off. Please help me." Ethan's finger hesitated on the trigger. Something about her voice, unsoft, shaking, didn't feel fake. But he couldn't forget what his captain said before dying. If they remove the collar, it's already too late. He took a step closer. "When did you take it off?" "Just now," she whispered. "It was hurting me, burning me inside." The lights flickered again, and Ethan saw something move under her skin and, like faint ripples, alive. He stepped back, his breath catching in his throat. "Lyra, what did they do to you?" "I don't know," she said, shaking. "They said I was a key, that I could open something. But I just want to go home." Her voice cracked, filled with pain. Ethan's training screamed, "Don't trust her." But his heart whispered something else. She looked too human, too broken then. A metallic growl echoed from the hallway behind him. Alien footsteps, the clicking sound of their weapons charging. Ethan's instincts took over. He rushed forward, grabbed Lyra's arm, and pulled her to her feet. "We need to move, now." They ran together through the narrow corridor. The ship shuddered as something exploded in the distance. The smell of burnt metal filled the air. Lyra stumbled and Ethan caught her. For a second, their eyes met. There was fear, confusion, and something darker. Her pupils shimmered faintly like liquid silver. "Your eyes," Ethan whispered. She blinked. "What?" "Nothing," he said quickly, pushing forward. "This way." They turned into a maintenance tunnel. Dim red light glowed from emergency strips on the floor. Ethan sealed the hatch behind them and leaned against it, breathing hard. "Listen," he said, his voice low. "If you're lying to me, I'll—" Lyra raised her hands. "I'm not lying. Please, I just want to live." Before he could answer, the ship gave a violent shake. Somewhere above, alarms blared in alien tones. Lyra gasped, holding her head. "They're calling for me." "I can hear them," Ethan frowned. "Hear who?" "Them," she whispered. "The ones who made the collar." Her voice dropped to a whisper, barely human. "They're angry, because I took it off." Ethan's eyes widened. A cold feeling crawled down his spine. The glow in her wrists grew brighter, the same color as the alien energy weapons. He raised his rifle slowly, fear tightening every muscle. "Lyra, what are you?" She looked up at him, her face trembling between terror and something else. "I don't know," she said. "But they're coming, and they want me back." The metal wall behind them vibrated with heavy footsteps, dozens of them. The sound of claws scraping metal filled the tunnel. Ethan aimed his rifle at the door. 2 shots left, no escape, no backup. And beside him, the girl who might not even be human anymore. The lights flickered again, and Lyra whispered, "Ethan." "I can make them stop." He turned toward her, shocked. "How?" She smiled weakly. "You won't like it." The tunnel filled with a blinding white light. The tunnel was filled with blinding white light. Ethan threw his arm over his eyes, stumbling backward. His vision burned, and for a moment the world vanished into pure sound. A deep hum shook the air, vibrating through the walls, through his bones, through his heart. Then silence. When the light faded, Ethan blinked hard, trying to see. The walls around them were scorched black. The air smelled like burned ozone, and the sound of alien footsteps and gone. He turned toward Lyra. She stood still, her head lowered, her hands glowing faintly blue. The metal cuffs on her wrists had melted away. Around her feet, a circle of strange symbols glimmered on the floor, alive like liquid fire. Ethan's mouth went dry. "Lyra, what did you do?" Her voice was soft, almost broken. "I don't know. It just happened. They were screaming in my head. I made it stop." He looked at her in disbelief. "You killed them?" She shook her head. "No, I sent them away." Ethan didn't understand. There were no bodies, no blood, no signs of the aliens. Just emptiness, and like they had never existed. He stepped closer, keeping his rifle lowered but ready. "You said they were calling for you. Now they're gone. You expect me to believe that's an accident?" Her silver eyes met his. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to be their weapon." The last word hung in the air like a wound. Ethan froze. Weapon. Before he could speak again, the ship's alarms came back, louder, angrier. Red lights flashed through the tunnel. Somewhere above, metallic voices shouted in alien tongue. The ship was waking up. "They know," Lyra whispered. "They felt it. They're coming for me." Ethan grabbed her arm. "Then we move. Now." They ran through the tunnels, past shattered doors and flickering lights. Ethan tried to focus on the mission, escape, survive, but his mind kept drifting back to what he'd just seen. No human could do that. Not even with advanced tech. Who or what was she? They reached an airlock at the end of a long corridor. Beyond the window was open space, the black void scattered with stars. Ethan typed furiously on the console, trying to override the system. Lyra leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "Where will we go?" "There's a shuttle bay 2 levels below," Ethan said. "If we reach it before they seal it off, we have a chance. And if we don't?" He glanced at her, his voice grim. "Then this ship becomes our grave." The console beeped. "Access denied." Ethan cursed under his breath. "They've locked us out." He slammed his fist on the panel, and suddenly the door slid open with a hiss. He stared. "How?" Lyra's hand glowed faintly beside him. "I asked it to open." Ethan looked at her, then at the door, unsure whether to thank her or fear her. They stepped into the next chamber, a large observation deck. Giant windows showed the endless stars. The ship's engines hummed deep below. Ethan checked his map. "We're close." The bay's on the other side, but before they could move, the air shimmered. Blue light formed in the center of the room. A hologram. A tall alien figure appeared, cloaked in black armor, its face hidden behind silver plating. Its voice was calm and cold. "Human soldier, you have something that belongs to us." Lyra gasped, stepping back. "It's him. The warden." Ethan aimed his rifle. "Stay behind me." The hologram tilted its head. "You cannot protect her. She carries what your kind cannot understand. Return her and your death will be quick." Ethan narrowed his eyes. "Yeah, that's not happening." The hologram flickered, its tone sharper. "I'm sorry, Ethan." He raised his weapon, not sure whether to protect her or stop her. The ship trembled as red alarms flashed through every corridor. A deep voice echoed over the speakers, the warden's voice. "Containment breach. Subject Lyra 9 has awakened. All units converge." Ethan's grip on his rifle tightened. He could feel the vibration through his gloves, through his chest, through his heart. The alien ship was alive, and it wanted Lyra back. Lyra crouched beside him, her hands shaking, eyes still glowing faintly silver. Her voice was weak. "They're coming, Ethan. I can feel them in my head again." Ethan looked at her, his mind racing. "Then we need to move before they reach this level. You said they made you destroy a colony." "How?" Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't know what I was doing. The collar controlled me. I saw everything, the light, the fire, the screams, but I couldn't stop it." Her voice cracked. "It wasn't me." Ethan wanted to believe her. He really did. But how could he? Thousands had died that day, and now standing before him was the one who caused it. He forced himself to focus. Right now it doesn't matter what happened before. We survive this, then we talk. She nodded slowly, wiping her tears. Okay. They crawled through the maintenance tunnels, narrow metallic veins that ran through the alien ship. Pipes hissed steam. Strange fluids dripped from the ceiling. Ethan's wrist light flickered, casting ghostly shadows on the walls. Every few seconds, the sound of alien soldiers echoed nearby, claws clicking, weapons humming. Lyra whispered, "They're splitting up." "4 in front, 2 behind us," Ethan frowned. "How do you know that?" She tapped the side of her head. They talked to each other through a network. "I can hear parts of it now." "The connection isn't fully gone." Ethan gave her a sharp look. "Then use it." "Can you confuse them?" She hesitated. "Maybe. But it'll hurt." He took a breath. "Do it." Lyra closed her eyes. Her body tensed, veins pulsing with faint blue light. A low hum filled the tunnel. Ethan watched as her face twisted in pain. Somewhere in the ship, alien voices screamed in confusion. The footsteps stopped, then scattered. Lyra fell forward, gasping. Ethan caught her before she hit the ground. "You did it," he said softly. "They've lost track of us." She smiled weakly. "You're welcome." Ethan couldn't help but let out a small laugh, the first in hours. "You're insane." "So are you," she whispered. They reached a junction. 2 paths. One led toward the engine core, the other to the shuttle bay. Ethan checked his map, but it flickered, corrupted by the ship's interference. Lyra touched the wall, her fingers glowing faintly. "This way," she said, pointing toward the darker corridor. "You sure?" She nodded. "I can feel the engines pull. It's safer there." They moved quickly, but halfway down the corridor, the floor shuddered beneath them. The metal rippled like liquid. Ethan cursed. "They're sealing us in." Panels dropped from the ceiling, blocking the exit. Lyra screamed as strange tendrils of metal shot from the walls, wrapping around her arms and legs. "Ethan!" she cried. He fired his plasma rifle. One shot vaporized the first tendril. The second tore through another, but his weapon overheated. He had 1 charge left. He aimed at the control node glowing on the wall and fired. The metal tendrils froze midair and shattered. Lyra fell into his arms, breathing hard. "You saved me." Ethan smiled faintly. "Yeah, don't get used to it." She looked up at him, eyes wide. "You risked your life," he shrugged. "That's what humans do." Before they could move, a deep hum shook the walls. The floor panels glowed red. Lyra gasped and clutched her head. "He's here." Ethan turned. A tall, armored figure stepped out of the shadows. The warden himself, not a hologram this time. His armor shimmered with alien energy, and his voice echoed like thunder. "Human, step away from the subject." Ethan raised his rifle. "Not gonna happen." "You protect what you don't understand," the warden said. "She is a weapon of extinction. She carries the seed of our gods. You think she's human? Look closer!" Lyra screamed, falling to her knees. Blue light poured from her veins, forming glowing patterns across her skin. Her shadow twisted unnaturally, like something alive was moving beneath it. Ethan took a step back, torn between fear and instinct. "Stop," he shouted. "You're hurting her." The warden spread his claws. "She hurts herself. She is not one of you anymore." The air crackled with energy. The warden raised his arm, and a sphere of pure light formed in his palm. Ethan had only 1 shot left. 1 chance. He looked at Lyra, trembling, crying, trying to hold on to whatever humanity she had left, and then at the warden, who was about to end her. His heart screamed a choice his mind couldn't accept. He aimed, not at the warden, but at the ceiling above him, and fired. The blast brought the corridor down in a storm of fire and metal. Darkness. That was the first thing Ethan felt. Heavy, endless darkness pressing down on him. His lungs burned. Dust filled his mouth. He tried to move, but metal debris pinned him to the floor. Somewhere close, sparks flickered in the air, hissing softly. He coughed, forcing himself to breathe. Every muscle ached. The last thing he remembered was the explosion, his desperate shot that brought the corridor down on top of them. "Lyra," he whispered hoarsely. No answer. He pushed a twisted beam off his shoulder and crawled forward. The faint blue glow guided him. Her glow. She was lying a few meters away, half buried under debris, her skin faintly shimmering with silver light. Her eyes were closed. "Lyra!" Ethan dragged himself toward her, ignoring the pain. He pulled the metal pieces away and checked her pulse. Still there and weak but steady, he let out a shaky breath of relief. "You're not dying on me, not now." He looked around. The corridor was gone. The explosion had sealed both ends with collapsed metal. They were trapped. Maybe the warden too, but Ethan wasn't sure. He activated his suit's emergency light and checked his oxygen levels. Half capacity. Maybe an hour of breathable air. He sat beside Lyra trying to think. Then she moved. Her eyes opened slowly, glowing faint silver. "Ethan, what happened?" "You passed out," he said. "I dropped the roof on us." "You're welcome." She managed a weak smile. "You're insane, so I've been told." Lyra tried to sit up, groaning in pain. Her wrists were glowing again, small streams of light crawling under her skin like living veins. Ethan frowned. "You're bleeding light." She looked down, eyes wide. "It's spreading faster." "What is?" "The thing inside me," she whispered. "It's not just power. It's alive." Ethan stared at her. "Alive like a parasite?" "No," she said softly. "It's something older. They called it the Echo." "The Echo?" She nodded, tears glinting in her eyes. "It's a piece of an ancient being, like the one the aliens worship. They put it inside me when I was captured. It feeds on energy, memories, emotions." Ethan felt a cold chill crawl down his spine. "And what happens when it grows?" Lyra hesitated. "It takes control." A deep vibration shook the floor beneath them. Somewhere beyond the wreckage, machinery whirred to life. The ship was repairing itself, Ethan cursed. "If the ship's healing, they'll find us soon." Lyra touched the wall, sensing the pulse of the ship. "They're already looking. I can feel the warden's mind. He's furious. Can you hide us from him?" "I can try," she said. "But the Echo, it listens to him too." Ethan crouched down beside her, meeting her eyes. "Then we fight it." "You're still you, Lyra. Don't let them win." Her gaze softened. "You still believe I'm human?" "I don't care what's inside you. You saved me. That's human enough." Her lips trembled. "Ethan." Before she could finish, the wall beside them cracked open, revealing a narrow crawl space. The ship was rebuilding its tunnels, shifting like a living thing. Ethan helped her stand. "Move, we can't stay here." They crawled through the narrow space, the metal warm under their hands. Lyra's glow lit the way. Behind them, the collapsed corridor slowly began to reshape itself, smooth panels sliding into place, covering the evidence of the blast. Ethan shivered. "This whole ship's alive," Lyra nodded. "It's part of the same organism as the Echo. Everything here is connected." As they moved forward, Ethan noticed her breathing grow heavier. "You okay?" Her voice was faint. The Echo's whispering again. "It wants out." He grabbed her shoulders. "Then keep it in. Whatever it takes." "I can't," she whispered. "It's showing me things. Memories that aren't mine." "What kind of memories?" "Planets burning. Oceans boiling. Voices screaming in light." She looked terrified. "Ethan, the Echo isn't from this galaxy." He stopped cold. "You're saying this thing came from somewhere else?" "Yes, they found it drifting in space and a piece of something huge, something ancient. The aliens tried to control it, but it needed a host. And they picked you." She nodded slowly. "Because I survived their tests. I was the only one who didn't." Lyra screamed as energy crackled around her. The ship's metal shifted again, forming alien glyphs that burned with light. Ethan ran to her, grabbing her shoulders. "Listen to me. You're not their weapon. You're Lyra." She blinked, tears cutting through the light. "Ethan, run!" "Not without you." The floor split open beneath them. Energy surged upward, swallowing everything in blinding light. Silence. Ethan opened his eyes and found himself floating in weightless darkness. No metal walls, no sound, only a faint glow far away like a dying star. He tried to move, but there was no ground beneath him. His voice echoed softly in the void. "Lyra?" No answer. Then whispers. Thousands of them, soft as wind, speaking in languages he didn't know. They grew louder, overlapping until they became one voice, calm, powerful, ancient. "Welcome, human." Ethan spun around, scanning the endless dark. "Who's there?" "You are inside the core, the place where memory lives." The light ahead grew brighter, forming a shape, a figure of shifting energy, neither male nor female. It glowed in patterns similar to the veins that had run beneath Lyra's skin. "Are you the Echo?" Ethan asked quietly. "A fragment of it. A thought. You stand where time and mind are one." Ethan clenched his fists. Where's Lyra? She is within me, and I within her. He stepped forward, heart pounding. If you hurt her, I swear, you misunderstand. She is not my prisoner. She is my vessel. Through her I live. The words made Ethan's blood run cold. You used her. I saved her. Her body was dying when they found her. I gave her life again. We are one now. Ethan shook his head. She didn't ask for this. The figure tilted its glowing head. Neither did you ask to be born. Yet here you are fighting for meaning. Ethan glared. You killed thousands through her. You destroyed a colony. I did what I was made to do. Consume, evolve, remember. He took a step closer. Then remember this, humans don't kneel to monsters. The figure's light flickered. For the first time, the echo sounded curious. Human defiance. Fascinating. Even in hopelessness you resist. Damn right, Ethan growled. Perhaps that is why she clings to you. What do you mean? Lyra fights me because of you. Your presence makes her unstable. Unpredictable. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then I'll keep fighting too. The echo's light pulsed once. You cannot fight what is inside her. The warden comes to reclaim the vessel. If he succeeds, I will spread through his kind. And yours. Ethan felt his stomach drop. Then I'll stop him. Alone? I've been alone before. For a moment, the echo was silent. Then softly, you are not alone, human. The darkness rippled. From the glow, he saw something. A memory, projected like a living dream. He was back on Earth. Blue skies, his squad laughing beside a crashed drone. Lyra's face among them, smiling, alive before the invasion. Ethan blinked in shock. This isn't real. It is her memory, said the echo. She remembers you. What? Before her capture, she saw you. You helped her once, cured on that same colony. Ethan stared at the image. The pieces clicked. The evacuation 3 years ago. The frightened scientist he'd pulled from the burning lab. That had been her. I saved her, he whispered, and now you must save her again. The light around him began to twist and blur. The echo's voice faded. Return, human, the warden is near. The vessel wakes. Ethan gasped and opened his eyes. He was back in the ship, but not in the same place. He was lying on a smooth platform surrounded by glowing pillars. The air was thick, humming with energy. In the center of the room stood Lyra. She wasn't moving. Her eyes were white, her body surrounded by a halo of light. Lyra, he shouted. Her head turned slowly toward him, but her voice wasn't her own. You should not have come back. Ethan stood, pain shooting through his ribs. Lyra, fight it! Don't let it take you. It is too late. The warden will arrive soon. I must finish what I began. Destroying everything? Ethan barked. That's not you. The light around her flickered. For a second, her own voice broke through. Ethan, I can't hold it. Please. He rushed forward, grabbing her hand. It burned like touching lightning, but he didn't let go. You can fight it. You're stronger than this. She screamed, not in pain, but like something inside her was tearing free. The pillars around them cracked, releasing waves of energy. The floor split apart, revealing a swirling abyss below, a reactor core of living light. Ethan, she cried. If I lose control, it'll destroy the ship, and you. Then I guess we both go down together, he shouted.
Human foolishness, the echo hissed through her lips.
You would die for her? Yeah, Ethan said, staring into her glowing eyes. That's what humans do. The room trembled violently. Somewhere above, a massive door began to open. The warden's silhouette appeared against the glow. Enough, his metallic voice boomed. The vessel is mine. Ethan turned, standing between him and Lyra. You'll have to go through me first. So be it. The warden's claws charged with energy, and the chamber exploded in blinding light. The chamber burned with white and blue light. Energy rippled through the air, bending metal, warping sound. Ethan stood in front of Lyra, his armor cracked, his rifle nearly destroyed, but his eyes burned with defiance. The warden stepped forward through the haze. His armored body shimmered with alien power, his voice deep like thunder. You cannot stop destiny, human. The vessel belongs to the echo. Ethan raised his broken rifle, aiming at the giant even though he knew it was useless. Maybe, but she's still human, and I protect my own. The warden's armor split open along his chest, revealing a core pulsing with black light. Your species is fragile, emotional, blind. You think this girl is yours to save? She carries the end of everything. Ethan gritted his teeth. Then I'll save her and the universe. Watch me. The warden spread his claws, energy gathering in his palms. Foolish. A beam of pure energy burst from his hands, slicing across the room. Ethan dove aside, the blast barely missing him. The wall exploded, molten metal raining down. Lyra screamed as the energy surged through her body, her veins glowing brighter. Her voice shifted between human pain and alien tone. Ethan, go. I can't hold it back much longer. Not leaving you, he shouted, rolling behind a fallen pillar. He searched the wreckage and then saw a power conduit flickering nearby, connected to the ship's main reactor. His HUD showed unstable readings. One hit could overload it. He looked back at the warden, then at Lyra. He had one desperate move left. He tore off the power cell from his damaged rifle and jammed it into the conduit. The lights flickered. The floor trembled. The warden turned sharply. What are you doing? Making it fair, Ethan said. He slammed his hand on the emergency override. The conduit surged to life. Arcs of blue lightning filled the room, striking everything. The warden staggered as his armor short-circuited, his systems sparking violently. The energy didn't harm Lyra, and then it fed her. Her eyes snapped open, burning silver white. The echo's voice roared through her. Power, finally, freedom. The air itself began to twist. Objects lifted from the floor. Metal melted and flowed like liquid. Ethan shielded his face. Lyra, you have to fight it. She cannot, the echo said through her. She is mine now. Ethan stepped closer, ignoring the burning heat. Lyra, listen to me. You're stronger than this thing. You stopped it before. You can do it again. She trembled violently, caught between two wills. Ethan, it hurts. I know, he said softly. But you're not alone. For a moment, her eyes flickered, human again. You remember the colony? He nodded. You tried to save those people, not destroy them. That's who you are? Tears rolled down her glowing cheeks. I don't want to hurt anyone again. Then fight. The warden roared, tearing through the lightning. Enough! He charged forward, claws raised to strike them both. Ethan moved without thinking. He grabbed a fallen steel beam and swung it with all his strength. It struck the warden's side, shattering part of his armor but barely slowing him down. The alien slammed Ethan across the room. He hit the wall hard, gasping in pain. Blood ran down his forehead. The warden raised his hand again, ready to finish him. You die here, human. But before the blow landed, a blinding flash erupted from behind him. Lyra stood tall now, surrounded by swirling rings of light. The echo's voice and hers spoke together, calm, powerful, unstoppable. He will not die. The energy burst outward like a wave, throwing the warden backward. His body hit the far wall, embedding into the metal. Ethan crawled forward, barely able to see through the glare. Lyra, her voice was soft and sad. Ethan, I can feel it all now. The echo's power, the warden's link, the ship itself. It's all connected. If I break the link, I can stop it. He frowned. Then do it. She shook her head slowly. If I do, I die with it. Ethan froze. No, there has to be another way. There isn't, she whispered. But he stood up slowly, looking around. The warden's body was motionless. Shattered armor, lifeless core. But Lyra was gone. Only her silver necklace, the broken collar, lay where she had stood. Ethan picked it up, his hands trembling. No, please no. He looked out through the cracked viewing window. Beyond it, the stars burned bright, and for a moment one of them flickered silver. He smiled weakly through tears. You did it, Lyra. You really did. The alien ship drifted silently through the endless dark of space, broken, lifeless and cold. Inside its twisted remains, only one sound echoed faintly, a slow, steady breath. Ethan Cole opened his eyes. He was lying on a pile of debris, his armor cracked, his ribs screaming in pain. The emergency light on his wrist flickered weakly. The air was thin and cold, every breath cutting like ice. He tried to stand, but his leg gave out. Still, he forced himself up. Lyra, he whispered. Only silence answered him. He looked around. The reactor core, once alive with white light, was now a black pit of glass and ash. The warden's remains lay nearby, half melted, still smoking. Ethan limped closer and kicked the alien's cracked helmet aside. You lost, he muttered. She won. Then something caught his eye, faint silver dust drifting through the air, glowing like fireflies. It gathered above the core, moving slowly, almost like it was breathing. Ethan's heart skipped. Lyra? The dust shimmered brighter, swirling faster, forming a fragile, ghostly shape. For a moment, just a moment, he saw her. Not solid, not human, but still her. Ethan, the soft voice said, echoing in the silence. He staggered closer, reaching out.
Lyra, you're alive.
She smiled, faint, glowing. Part of me, the rest, is gone. He shook his head. No, we can fix this. We'll find a way. Ethan, she interrupted gently. It's over. The echo is gone. I kept my promise. He clenched his fists. I didn't ask you to die. She tilted her head, her glowing hair drifting like smoke. You asked me to fight. I did. Tears blurred his eyes. You didn't have to save me. I didn't do it for you, she said softly. I did it for everyone. For all the voices I heard in the dark. For every human I couldn't save before. Her image flickered, pieces of her breaking into silver sparks. The echo wanted to consume everything, but I showed it something it couldn't understand. What? He whispered. Love, she said simply. Ethan's breath caught. The glow dimmed slightly. It saw what we are. It remembered what it used to be. And for a moment it stopped fighting. She looked down at her fading hands. That moment was enough. He reached out, his voice trembling. Stay with me. I can't, she whispered. But something of me will. A piece of my memory. In you. Her hand reached forward, touching his chest. A small surge of light passed into him. Warm, gentle, familiar. He felt it. Her heartbeat, her voice, her calm. Then it was gone. The light faded completely. Ethan stood in silence, staring at the empty air where she'd been. The broken collar in his pocket felt heavier than ever. For a long time, he didn't move. The hum of the dying ship was the only sound left. Hours later, rescue arrived. A human patrol ship, picking up faint signals from the wreck. They found Ethan sitting beside the melted core, holding the silver collar in his hand. Captain Cole, one of the medics said softly. You're lucky to be alive. Ethan didn't answer. He just stared out at the stars. The medic looked at the wreckage around them. Whatever happened here? It looks like a war between gods, Ethan smiled weakly. No, just one human. And someone who wanted to be. They led him to the shuttle, patching his wounds. As the patrol ship pulled away, the alien vessel behind them finally crumbled. A silent storm of silver dust spreading into the stars. Ethan watched from the window. Among the drifting light, one spark glowed brighter than the rest, and just for a moment waved before fading. He whispered, Goodbye, Lyra. Weeks later, back on the human colony of Vesta 9, Ethan sat alone in the observation deck, staring at the sky. The scars on his face had healed, but the memories hadn't. He'd been debriefed, questioned, celebrated, the man who survived an alien god. But inside, he still carried her last touch, faint but alive. A warmth in his chest that appeared every time he looked at the stars. Sometimes he swore he could hear her voice in the hum of the station lights. Don't forget, Ethan. You showed me what it means to be human. He smiled faintly. And you reminded me why it matters. Outside the viewport, a shooting star streaked across the black sky, silver and bright.